Good everyone. I hope you guys have an amazing day. So far I've talked about admin side of PSS, and I briefly touched about all the important elements you need to know from a PSS side of things, right? Now, the biggest challenge with the PSS, right? A lot of things Salesforce has given as a part of apps, like for instance, excuse me, license management app, inspection management app, grant. These are, I would say, like a components which you may or may not need to use it, right? Because um, from a PSS perspective, what's important is your knowledge of Omni Studio, which is very important. You need to have an admin side of skill set from an PSS, which we already covered. Now, I do acknowledge that I haven't spoken about Omni Studio much. I mean, I haven't spoken about Omni Studio at all as a part of PSS. That's something I will cover once I finish, some of the element of PSS, because I plan to talk about FlexCard, OmniScript, data raptors, integration procedures in detail. Though I do acknowledge I have done a video, perhaps 2 hour and a half video explaining everything in once, right? That's a two-year old videos, and I do acknowledge it needs change, right? I need to add more stuff to it, which I'm going to do that. Now, in saying so, right, what I'm planning to do, I will talk about the data model associated with different apps. What we have, like for instance, today I'm going to talk about business application, and next time I'm going to talk about inspection management. Then we talk about grant, because it's very important. You guys should know what's out there as a standard object when you are dealing with PSS, right? Because a lot of things Salesforce ships when you sign up for PSS. And based on your requirement or based on your use case, you should be able to navigate through the right data model and help build solution for the organization you associated with it. Because not every public sector does similar stuff, right? Because I am associated with the public sector, um, and we do things different way to, let's say, Ministry of Health. They're associated with the different things, right? They're mostly into health stuff. So perhaps the health cloud element is extensively used. Um, and then we have, different public sectors out there, right? So now it's kind of gets challenging to know what to teach, right? Because, I mean, let's accept the fact, right? When we are nobody's interested to know, go there, click the object here, because that's all the basic Salesforce skills, right? What is important from a PSS perspective, to have a knowledge about what's out there and to leverage that. And data model, understanding a data model forms a part of it. Like for instance, today I'm going to talk about business and individual application. Now, you must be wondering, what is a business and individual application? So, to give you an example, let's say I'm just making up some stuff, right? So, just to give you, uh, you wanted to start a restaurant, right? And as a part of a restaurant, you wanted to get a permit to start a restaurant, right? And also you wanted to include, say, to get a liquor license as well. So you as a business apply for a restaurant permit and all the alcohol permit, right? So that comes under business application. Now, if you are a hair stylist, right, and you wanted to cut hairs in a saloon, you might need a license. I don't know if you need a license, but let's assume you need a license. So you apply for your hair cutting license, to cut hairs, or a hairstylist license as an individual application, because you are applying for yourself. You're not applying for a business, right? So when you apply stuff for a company, that comes under business application. When you apply stuff for yourself, that comes under individual application, right? So obviously there are a few data models you need to know. Few objects you need to know when you're dealing with your business application as well as the individual application. Let's look at some of them, right, to give you better understanding. Okay, so this one, right? Business profile, business license application. So obviously, when you're applying for a business license, right? When you're applying for a business license, you obviously need to leverage these objects like business profile, contacts, a parent account, business account, and a business license application. Now, account and contact are standard Salesforce object, and business profile and business license are PSS object. When you look at, let me show you. Now, this, if you look at business profile, business license application, these are PSS object, though it comes under standard object. If you do not have PSS license, right, you cannot see these objects. It's that simple. Yeah, sounds good. Okay. Now, when you look at, let me look into schema builder. Okay, before I look into schema builder, let's talk about what these things are, right? Contact. So contact is obviously related to business account and business license application. Now, if you look at a detail, like let's say Susan Adams is the owner of a business, Sunshine Saloon, and she is applicant for the business license, right? So I'm the owner, I'm applying for a business license application. So the contact, so you fall under the contact, right? Then your business profile, so what does your business is all about, right? Sunshine Saloon is based on Sunshine Saloon account. So yeah, and then you have a normal account, then you have a person account, then your business license application. Pretty simple, right? Now, if I look at the schema builder, so you have business license application, you have a contact, you have account and business profile. So your business profile linked to account, then your contact is linked to business license application and account, right? And also your business application into here account. So this is a very simple data model. I mean, you can see that, you can view that using Schema Builder, and you can also create a field and other stuff, right? And that's why, in my honest opinion, data model is very important, because if you model um, your objects and fields correctly, you will be able to build a good solution. Okay, now that's in simple terms of what does a business application covers, right? Now, when we talk about an individual application, now obviously, like I said, I wanted to apply for a hairstylist certification, right? So it will comes under person account. That's what comes under. And now obviously there are other objects you can see, like the courses I've taken, exams I have given, and the current certifications I hold. That's on my current education qualification. That's all come under a person account. And exams I've taken comes under here, and the training courses I've been a part of, right? So these are all comes under the standard object. Now, the reason why it's very important to know the data model is, let's say now you know that as a part of the PSS, there are training course objects, right? Now, let's say your business, or your not your business, perhaps, let's say the public sector you are associated with, interested in giving training, right? And they have a PSS license. So you as an architect shouldn't be tempted to go and create a custom object, right? Because there are out of box training objects out there. So if I look at training, right? So you have two training standard objects, so you should be leveraging that. So that's why it's very important to have a general knowledge about what all the data models that's associated with it, right? Um, and then you have the training course participants, course offering. So if you look at some of the course, you have the course offering. So these are the standard object, right? So you shouldn't be, like I say, you shouldn't be tempted to create a custom object to do that. Now, obviously, this is all good, right? From a data model perspective. Now, if you're a customer, you honestly don't give a shit, right, about the Salesforce, because let's accept the fact you're a customer, you wanted to get a license. That's all you care, right? Because your expertise, let's say, in running a business, right? Why do you care if a government agency uses Salesforce, right? And you're not going to log in through an org, you're going to log in through a site, a website, which we call it as an experience builder, right? experience builder. You use experience uh, builder to build your community page, and then you be leveraging OmniScript. Now, obviously, you can use LWC if you want, right? Look, I am very code savvy guy, right? Because, like I said, my first instinct is always to use code because I'm not a low code guy because I've been coding since I was 10. um, and I can code faster than using the low code tools. But that's me, right? Because I've been using all kinds of tech stack for the past 20 years. So for me, it comes naturally. But that being said, OmniScript is useful, very useful if you don't want to write any code, right? Um, and but behind the scene, Omni Studio compiles to LWC, so it's anyways getting built to LWC, right? um, but it's for mostly for people who are not very skilled with the Apex or JavaScript side of things. So you can use OmniScript, and you can build a pretty good looking interface, and you can hook that up on experience page, and the user, let's say you are a business user, right? You look after your business. That's your main job at the end of the day, right? You're a founder, you're an owner of the business. If you wanted to apply for a license, all you care, I want a license, man. I wanted to apply, I wanted to log into a page, sorry, a portal or somewhere where I can see all the information I need to submit, fill the form, click on submit, need to know the status, and I want to get my license. That's all you as a business owner or individual applicant will care, right? Why do you care if it's using Salesforce or Microsoft CRM or Monday.com or whatever, right? You don't care, right? So, but you as an architect or as a consultant should care because your responsibility is to give a better user interface, which which helps customer to provide the right information in a friendly way, and you need to hook up that information behind the scene to the right object so that you get all the necessary information from the customer so that you can serve them uh, in an efficient way in a short span of time, right? And also it's useful for the reporting purpose, from a reporting perspective, right? Because you need to know, how many licenses are being approved every month. Maybe your manager might be interested to know, right? So that's very important. So that's why it's very important to model your data. So that's what I'm going to do in the coming episode. So today you get to know a little bit about business and license application and some of the data model that's used behind the scene, a very simplistic view, right? Which gets you started. And obviously, when you start building, you need to know about the codes and like for instance, say you have um, regulatory code violation. Let's look at here, right? So before I go into that, right? So I'm using a trial org, yeah, as you know, right? If you've been following along, I'm using a trial org. You get the trial for 30 days, right? And it comes with pre-configured apps, right? So if I look at public sector, you have inspection management, license and permit management, you have grant making and other stuff, right? Now, if I go into this app, which is the licensing one, you got all the stuff here, right? Individual application, public complaints, business profile, individual applications, regulatory code violation enforcement actions, right? So you can leverage this to build up um, your right um, data model and to capture the right information, right? So that's from a data model perspective in a very simplistic way. Now, I'm planning to do a course, like I said, on Omni Studio because I wanted to talk Omni Studio in detail to give you a perspective how to use it in an efficient way, so that you will become an efficient consultant when you're using PHS, right? Like because you might be thinking that I'm ranting over and over, but you know all these components, right? I call these apps as components. Uh, they are not used uh, extensively, in every government agencies. What I meant by that is that not every government agencies deal with license and permits, right? So they don't bother using that aspect of PSS. Not every government agencies use inspection management. Some only deals with the grant. Some only deals with training stuff. Some only deals with, say, employment stuff, right? So it's the part of a component that is which is relevant to an organization. They use it, right? So my main intention is to give you guys a little bit understanding about the data model associated with each components, right? Each apps, so that you have a fairly good understanding what comes out of box, so that you don't have to go and use a custom object to build it. Yeah. So that's the whole point, right? I apologize. My apologies that if it gets a little bit boring, but it's good to know, right? That's my personal experience, right? If I haven't told you, there's a training out of box component. And if you haven't learned PSS before, then obviously your first impression will be, okay, we need a training app. So first thing that comes to your mind, okay, let's do a custom app because you haven't heard about the training object before, right? So that's why it's very important to know the data model. So that being said, I hope you guys have an amazing Sunday. Adios.